Greetings, guys and gals, my name is Thad and welcome back to our Gothic 3 melee-only playthrough. We are here in the palace of Zubin, who just sits down on his throne eating his bread with his two weird lions, which are apparently able to phase through walls. But I just remembered that we actually don't need to talk to Zubin, we actually need to talk to Ugrasal. Ugrasal gave us the task to conjure up 75 reputation in Ishtar, which we now have achieved, so so we now can talk to Ugrasal. Oh, lag. Where is the guy? That is Muntasir. Ugrasal, there you are. So, how am I doing?
How am I doing with the tests?
Yes. If anyone is the man for Zubin, you are. Go to him. I said the test is over.
Alright then, so now we can talk to... Wait, could we actually talk to Zubin before talking to Ugrasal? Probably, right? Parkour. Alright, so let's talk to Zubin. Zubin. And as soon as we enter the palace, the music will stop. Wait. There you go. Zubin.
Ugrasal sent me.
Ugrasal.
I have completed your test.
Good.
Level up, nice.
You man. Congratulations.
So that means...
What mission do you have for me?
The sand hides ancient and powerful mysteries.
he wants
Some
the artifacts.
are of use to us. Others should remain hidden forever. The orcs are digging in the ruins of the ancient ones. They're looking for something they do not understand. Only Zardas understands it. Tell me, what are they seeking? What dark secret does Zardas believe he knows? What ancient power does he hope to find? Seek out Zardas and find out what he has the orcs digging for.
Yeah, so Zardas is kinda dead.
Zardas is seeking the 5 artifacts of Adanos.
So, that's it. The artifacts of Adanos.
Indeed.
The power of the gods.
Yeah, I kinda have all 5
I
of them, so...
see.
What do you know about them?
The artifacts of Adanos open the gate to
his
the world
voice, man.
of the gods. The gate to Beliar. With the help of the artifacts, his power can manifest itself.
He's got a very weird
If you
voice.
place those artifacts in the temple of Beliar, you will receive a part of his power.
Yes.
Provided what?
That's exactly what I'm going to do.
Provided you possess the right focus to guide the power.
What is this focus?
My staff.
Oh.
Staff of the Eternal Wanderer.
Gimme.
Deal.
A deal.
What sort of deal?
Get the 5 artifacts of Adanos. Then I will give you the staff of the Wanderer.
What?
You can receive the power of Beliar.
I see.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that, and the reason for that, Zubin, is because you are telling me bullshit, right? Right? If I give you the artifact, what's stopping you from going to the temple of Beliar and receiving the power yourself? There is no way he's not going to immediately attack me once I give him the artifacts. So I will not do that. Yeah. Sounds very suspicious to me. So what am I going to do now? Very good question. Let's see. We're going to bring the fire chalices to Grumple. That's what we can do. So let's go to Geldon. But I actually want to tell you something, and dialogue kind of prevents me from doing so. I actually wanted to tell you something. You know what? We're strolling a little bit through Myrtana, and I'm going to tell you something before bringing. I know it's technically a playthrough, but sometimes I just gotta tell you some stuff. So I know it's a little bit late for that, and I know that I have said this before, but I've never been able to really make a coherent point It just was some some babbling. You know this by now. You know me by now, a little bit at least. And so I wanted to tell you in the like 190 something-ish part why I actually chose to do a melee only playthrough. I had a little conversation with one of my subscribers. One of my all-time favorite subscribers. No, I don't have favorite, but always active in my comment section. Oh, if you are here, you know that I'm talking about you. I still think your name is kind of hard to pronounce, so sorry about that. But yeah, and well, he told me he was a great fan of the game, and he actually lost very much progress once he did an archery/thievery run, and that has well, that has been the case with me as well. I hinted at this before, that I actually have way above 500 hours, maybe in 600 hours in this game, and I never even completed the game once. And I lost so much progress in this game so many times that yeah, that's actually kind of the reason why I chose to do a Gothic 3 playthrough in the first place. As my first game. I think there will be others to follow, but as my first game. And so yeah, but why did I choose to do a melee only playthrough? That's the big question I want to answer, and I should have answered this a lot sooner, and I think I did. Like, I've hinted at it many times, but I've never been able to really nail it down. And the reasons are numerous, actually. So the first reason was that I think archery in this game is overpowered. That is what I strongly believe. Maybe the guy who I was talking to in the comment section actually has a little bit to say about that. If you do, feel free to comment as always. But I think it's overpowered, and the reason I think it's overpowered is that there are actually many exploits in the game that you can use to... Oh, goblins. You know what? Let's kill us some goblins today. There are many exploits to use in the game. What I mean about with that is that in many cases there are like mountains nearby or stones nearby, larger stones, boulders, which you can just jump up to and then just riddle the enemy with arrows. That is easily possible in so many different situations. For example, you remember that there was a saber-toothed tiger, or maybe some saber-tooths, and that's a great example actually, because you could just jump up here, or even better up here, and in most of the cases the game is just too buggy, so that the sometimes they can glitch up on the boulders, but in many situations they just can't. And you are just able to kill them. It's the Demon of Gotha is a very prominent example of that, because he can't get past a certain point of the city, so you can just riddle him with arrows. Yeah, like I said, there are so many different situations where the bow and arrow is just overpowered. Not only does it do much damage, if you actually do a hunting only, so bow and arrow only, you can invest so many learning points into bow and arrow skill that it does ridiculous damage. So yeah, and also for me personally, I don't find archery to be very challenging in this game. Not only because of the exploits, but also because of how the game kind of works. With archery, I could just shoot an arrow at something. I would demonstrate this, but it is a melee only run, and one arrow fired would completely ruin this. You can shoot an enemy, then you just run a few meters, and then you shoot him again. And because there's some knockback of the arrow, you can do this again and again, and it gets very repetitive, and it's not very challenging. The thing is that everything that attacks you from far away, let's say shamans, for example, they just drop dead so fast if you riddle them with arrows, especially with sharpened arrows. They do a lot of damage. Fire arrows as well, poisoned arrows, these weird, do I have some of them? I don't know the name. Nah, I sold all the arrows. The weird head knock arrows, I think they're called, I don't know. They do very much damage, and it gets it's very repetitive gameplay with the bow and arrow. And yeah, so why didn't I choose mage though? That's another question. Now I kind of answered why I didn't choose a bow and arrow, because I think it's kind of overpowered in the game, and yeah, it makes you use many exploits of the game. Yeah, so that's why I didn't choose that. Now, why didn't I choose mage? Kind of the same. You see, while mages do the same, or in most cases even more damage than bow and arrow, it's not as repetitive, but it's even more overpowered in the sense that the enemies can, in most cases, never even reach you. Because spamming fireballs, for example, every fireball has a knockback, and you can just bam, 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 bam. Like, yeah, you can just machine gun style riddle them with, ooh, a golem. Alright then. Finding some enemies. Alright. Give me a golem. Oh, 2 golems, alright. Alright. Oh, they're so loud. I think that's what I hate most about golems. Do they actually drop hearts of golems? Or only the... Wait a second. I will continue talking after... Heart of stone golem, yes, they do, alright. So there's actually nothing in here, yeah? Typical Gothic behavior. Wait, is there? Did I miss something? Casket. Lockpick. Mana potion. So I think mage, in a sense, is even more overpowered. Because fireball is basically the most basic spell. I think it even says so. Yeah, the good old fireball, basically. That's that is exactly what it is. And you can just spam the shit out of this spell, and the enemies will have no chance whatsoever getting you. The only bad part about being a mage is that you run out of mana in many cases. That is especially difficult, or would be especially difficult in a mage only run. Yeah. So that's why I don't play mage, because in some way it's even more overpowered than bow and arrow, because you have so many spells that are just insane. Now I will talk about a few negatives of bow and arrow also. It's not all fun and sunshine. Because I just saw the golems, there are a few enemies that are pretty difficult to kill with bow and arrow. Skeletons, for example, can only be hurt with fire arrows. But yeah, you can easily circumvent this. You have no problem getting fire arrows in this game whatsoever. Just remember how many times we actually had to sell, or we sold. We didn't have to, but we sold all of our arrows. Like, it's there's never a scarcity or very there are very little scarcities of arrows in this game. You can get your hands on arrows always, basically. But yeah, there are a few enemies which are kind of hard to kill with bow and arrow. These include the boss enemies. So if you are playing only bow and arrow, I'd imagine you'd have a pretty difficult time killing Thadj, for example, because he has insane health and also his spells and Army of the Dead. So yeah, that's actually something I'd like to ask you. I mean, if you are still here and not getting bored by me yet, a guy of my comment section, you told me you did a bow and arrow only run, right? Did you actually kill Thadj? Please write this in the comments down below. Did you manage to kill Thadj with only bow and arrow? Because that, I imagine, is pretty difficult. That is probably the only thing I would be afraid of in a bow and arrow run playthrough is Thadj. Because he's basically a mage, but like I've said, you definitely have no problem killing all the shamans. Or mages in general, because they don't have much health, but this one he has a lot of health, so that would be very difficult. He also has these spells where he summons armies of the dead. That, I imagine, is quite difficult, so please tell me in the comments if you did that. That would be amazing, actually. That would be pretty cool. Yeah, so mage is somehow even more overpowered. That what's attacking me? I know there are some rippers here. Whoa! Whoa! Shadow Beast phasing through the walls. Luckily the music warned me. Otherwise I would have been... What's with all the phasing enemies today? Yeah, so but that's actually a nice example, because I think, can you glitch up this roof? Probably not. But there are many roofs in the game where you could just glitch up. This is a perfect spot. So the Shadow Beast couldn't reach me there, but I could just riddle him with arrows. And there are many spots in this game. There's no way the Shadow Beast would get up here, but I could just riddle him with arrows from this roof. And there are many spots in the game, which makes bow and arrow kind of overpowered, as well as magic. So that's the first reason I chose melee only in particular, because I think it's the hardest playthrough. And now there are, of course, not only do I have reasons not to play bow and arrow and why it's overpowered, but I also can tell you the reason why melee only especially, is so hard in this game. Or what makes melee only so much harder. And this is, without being mean to Gothic 3, the game itself, the melee system in this game is broken. It is broken. It seems so simple, yet it can be so fucked up. I mean it. And if you manage to watch a few videos of mine where I complaining about zombies, you know exactly what I mean. One enemy can completely annihilate you with melee only, because with melee only you have to confront every single enemy in melee, right? And even a goblin can technically or could technically kill you, because enemies in Gothic have these really weird combos they do, where they hit you once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times. They can hit you so many times in a row if you're not careful. So they knock you down, then they knock you back, then you get 3 hits, 4 hits, and so on. So if you don't have enough HP, you know what, I'm actually going to change my armor. So if you don't have enough HP, they're going to kill you very quickly. And
show me your goods.
And yeah, if you played Gothic or if you watched a few of my parts, you definitely know what I'm talking about. That makes the melee system in Gothic 3 extremely frustrating, or it can make it extremely frustrating, but it also makes it hard, and it also, for me, makes it kind of fun. I know I complain a lot, especially fighting against zombies, but it can be fun, don't get me wrong. I mean, if it wouldn't be fun, I wouldn't spend so many hours playing it. But it's definitely whoa! Damn, nearly got a heart attack there. It's fun, but it's definitely harder than bow and arrow, and definitely also than magic. So I think it's the hardest way to play the game. Now there will be some people who followed my videos for a while and who will have noticed that I'm playing on medium difficulty, and who could be asking, well, if you want to make the game more difficult, why just not change the difficulty? And the thing about that is just, I would have changed it later, but you know, changing the difficulty midway is, I don't like that. But really because I didn't think I was good enough at the game. I'm not a Gothic 3 expert, I'm not very good at the game in any way, shape or form. So yeah, that's why I didn't want to play on hard difficulty, because I didn't think I could manage it, to be honest. So yeah. Looking back on it, I could probably manage it. But yeah, it's easy to say that now that I'm level 70 something and just cut my way through everything. Yeah. Anyway, so that is basically my reasoning on why I chose to do this melee only run. And I know it's a little bit late to elaborate on this, but it's just guy in the comments, you know who you are. I really like you. You're always active in my comment section. That's always brightens up my day. And yeah, it reminds me that I maybe need to make a little list on why I think, or why I picked the melee only option instead of bow and arrow or mage, for example. So yeah, that's basically why. Anyway, so yeah, this has been a lot of talk in this part, which kind of prohibited me from actually advancing the quest, which I will do, of course, in the next part. I'm very sorry, this was basically just the filler part where I just wanted to talk a little bit, and I hope it didn't annoy you too much, and that you will be there in the next parts. Nonetheless, yeah, when we give the fire chalices to Grumpel. Until then, have a nice day, have a nice night, and of course, as always, have a nice time.